Right, I'm back again with another PS4 video. This time I'll start off with some Fangamer merchandise. In the last video I briefly mentioned that I have some Hollow Knight stuff, but I didn't show them in the last video. So when I bought the Hollow Knight Collector's Edition, they also sent these papercraft characters. There were 4 of them, but I only have 2 here because I gifted 2 of them to a friend. So I have the main character here and also the character who's going to be the main character for the second game whenever it comes out. So I didn't add any of this extra stuff into my order because importing from the US to Finland is quite expensive. But Fangamer just put them in a package and gifted it to me, so thank you, Fangamer. Whenever I've bought from Fangamer, they have always put some extra stuff into the package, so that's very nice of them. Very good customer service. I also have these plushies. These I did buy myself, so these are Meat Boy plushies from Fangamer. Very high quality, like this a lot. So I thought I'd show these off as well. But now let's get to the PS4 games. So these are all games that I haven't played or that I'm currently playing. Let's start off with a stack of games that I have played at some point, but I maybe have quit midway through or I'm in the process of playing them. So here we have A Hat in Time. This is a Humble Games release. 3D platformer. I started playing this at some point, but had other stuff come up, and I just forgot it. I'll probably get back to it at some point. It's a really it's not unique. It is unique for the PS4 era in the sense that there aren't really that many 3D platforming games anymore that come out, but it's a very funny game, lots of humor in it. Then I have the Dragon's Crown Pro. This is the Steelbook edition, battle hardened. I'm not a huge fan of the Steelbook design. It doesn't look that great, but the game is a pretty good beat 'em up style action game, fun co-op game. I have completed this, but when you get to the end, it opens all these extra difficulty modes, or all these extra difficulty modes are unlocked and some extra content. I haven't done that, and it's been like 5 years, so I'll get back to it maybe at some point. This Double Switch Limited Run Games number 120. This has a small booklet in it. And it also came with a poster. I have it stored somewhere else. It's a poster of this same cover that's here. I have it stored somewhere. It doesn't fit the case, which is just stupid. But yeah, this is by the people who made Night Trap, Double Switch, and I didn't like this game at all. I played like maybe an hour of it. It's a very frustrating FMV puzzle game with lots of insta-kills and whatever. So I just stopped playing. I haven't gone back to it since. Next up, we have Earth Defense Force 4.1, The Shadow of New Despair. I don't think I have any other games from this series, Earth Defense Force. These are very janky, very laggy action games where you shoot giant ants. Ants are invading Earth and you have to blast all of them. Okay stuff, but doesn't really have that much lasting impact. Limited Run Games, Flint Hook is number 34. I started playing this at one point because I felt like starting up a small indie game, and I started playing it. It's a fun game. And then I looked at the how long to beat, and it was around 100 hours. And I thought, no, thank you. So I'll get back to it at some point, maybe. Galgun Double Peace. This is a rail shooter combined with visual novel. very questionable in terms of content. Actually, a really fun game, but it's again one of these games that has a lot of different routes to take. I think I've beaten it 3 times. I've got 3 endings, but I think there are 3 or 4 more. So I just got burned out at some point because it's the same thing over and over again. You are on rails and you shoot at the schoolgirls. Yeah. Hand of Fate 2. This is a Chinese plus English physical release. Does it have all of the DLC on disc? I don't think this has a DLC. This is just the main game. But I could be mistaken. I can't remember. I have played almost all of it. It's a fantastic game. It's a card game combined with some 3D action. It's a great game, really. It's just a really long one as well. There are a lot of challenges. I think I have maybe 4 or 5 challenges left to do. Next up, Has Been Heroes. This is a game by Frozen Byte, which is a Finnish developer. I bought this as a couch co-op title, but the couch co-op isn't really that great, and I haven't gone back to it to try it as a single player. It's a rhythm game, combat battler. Very difficult to explain what it actually is without gameplay, but it's an interesting one. Heart and Slash is a 3D action game, procedurally generated, so it's a different game every time you start playing it, I believe. The rooms are different and in different order. I stopped playing this again like 5 years ago. I think I tried this. The controls are not the greatest, and I just wasn't into it. This is the original Helldivers, the Super Earth Ultimate Edition. I've played this as a 2-player team. It's very difficult to play this. I haven't played the new one, so I only know this original one, but it's very difficult to play this as a download code in. It's very difficult to play this as a 2-man team because it's designed for 4 players. And the difficulty doesn't really scale. So it doesn't really work that well as a single player or a 2-player game, unfortunately, but it's a fun isometric action game. Again, I think this is... Who made this game? Oh, it's Arrowhead, yeah. So it's Arrowhead from... Wait, where are they from? Sweden, I think. It's a Nordic title. This is ISO Black Clouds Limited Run Games number 328, a horror FMV title. It's fine. The main thing about this game is that it has 2 storylines, so depending on what choices you make pretty early on in a game, you are put into one of 2 tracks, and the stories are completely separate. So it's basically 2 stories in one, depending on what choices you make, and the stories are very different. Both are horror themed, but from completely different genres. So I saw Black Clouds. If you like FMV titles, maybe worth checking out. Another limited run games title next. This is Kingdom Newlands, a 2D builder action game. Not really sure what genre it actually is. Is there a name for this kind of genre? Maybe it's like a tower defense game as well. So, by Raw Fury. Raw Fury is a great developer. If you see this logo, grab the game. So this is the original game. There's also a sequel which I do not have, unfortunately. Yeah, this is a game that you can play endlessly. It doesn't really. I mean, there is an ending to it, but you can just start over again and keep playing forever. So lots of hours that you can put into that one. Next up, I have Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 final chapter prologue, which just rolls off the tongue. This has, I believe, 3 games in it. Yeah. I have played Dream Drop Distance maybe halfway through the game. And these other ones I haven't checked out. So, but this is a collection of handheld games in the Kingdom Hearts series. The third one is a mobile game, if I'm not mistaken. Kingdom Hearts, like key back cover. Yeah, I like Kingdom Hearts as a series because I played it when I was very young, but it just doesn't really appeal to me anymore that much. So I never finished the game. I should go back to it because it's okay. It's not the worst one. I think it's definitely better than the second one in my opinion. It's a controversial opinion. I never liked Kingdom Hearts 2. I prefer the first one. Next up, Lapis X Labyrinth. This is a ridiculous dungeon crawler game. It has a very nice art style. It's like a gambling. It has this gambling theme to it, where you're collecting these gems, and it sounds like a pachinko machine, basically. So you're getting all these loud sounds when you're collecting these gems, and all the colors are exploding on the screen, and it looks like a pachinko machine or some other these sort of like slot machines you can play at casinos and whatever. It plays like a Dynasty Warriors game, like a 2D Dynasty Warriors game where you're just hack and slashing through hundreds and hundreds of enemies. It's very addicting, but does get a bit repetitive very quickly, actually. Next up, Lego Jurassic World. I played this with a relative who's quite young. We played it as a co-op game, and it works well as a co-op game. This is maybe a bit more difficult than some of the other Lego games. It has an open world hub and doesn't really convey that well where you're supposed to go at all times, but these Lego games are always a good time. I like them. Next up, we have Mega Drive Classics by Sega. Has a bunch of old arcade games and old Sega games. I have played some of these, but not all of them, and I'm obviously not going to play all of them, but what have I played? I've played Toe Jam and Earl, the original one. I've played, what else? I've played Altered Beast. Yeah, that's here, yes. What else is there? I've played through Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, which is a spin-off puzzle game for that series. I've played through, what else is here? Golden Axe, the first 2. I've played some fighting game as well, I think. I played Sonic Pinball at some point. Sonic Spinball, excuse me. Space Harrier. Oh yeah, Streets of Rage 1 and 2 as well. So I've played quite a few of these. This is a good collection. I really like the menu for this one, which is a 3D rendition of a kid's room from back in the day. You have the console and the actual cartridges that are put into the machine when you pick them and whatever. So lots of care put into this collection. It's a very, very well-made collection, in my opinion. Another well-made collection is Mega Man Legacy Collection. This is the American release for that, because of course Europeans wouldn't be interested in Mega Man, so they only released this in America. So thanks for that. And they also released this in Japan as the Rockman Collection. Yeah, this has some extra stuff in it as well. Has some stickers. It's actually still sealed. I'm not going to open it. And it does have some, it has a digital soundtrack. I'm just going to show the code. It also has a list of the different bosses in the games and the weaknesses. So if you played these games way back in the day and you just can't be bothered with trying to figure out who is weak for whatever, you can use this as a guide to get through the games easier. I've only played the first 2 Mega Man games ever, so I'll get back to this at some point to play the other ones, but fantastic series. Classic stuff. NieR Automata is a game that I unfortunately never beat. I played over 20 hours of this, and then I had work coming up, and I had to put this down for a couple of months, and I never got back to it. And at this point, I should probably just start from the beginning, but it's when you've played a game for 20 hours, 25 hours, very difficult to go back to it and start from the beginning. Yeah, NieR is a fantastic series. I will play it at some point. Another FMV title, this is Nightbook Limited Run Games 333. This, I'm not sure if I would recommend. It's a very short and simple, not particularly well written FMV game. The reason why I have this and I saw Black Clouds in this pile is because I have beaten them, but I have to go back to them and play through them again to get all the trophies that I missed, which is very easy to get because you can skip all the scenes that you have seen before, and you can skip more and more the more you play the game, and then you can just see the scenes that you haven't seen before, the endings that you haven't seen before. You can get through the game in a couple of minutes that way. So I'll get back to it at some point to get the trophies, but yeah. Next up, Psikyo Shooting Library Volume 1 has a sticker sheet as a bonus. These are all shoot 'em up games, has 6 titles in it. So this first one has Strikers games. Is that all of them? Well, it is the original 2, Strikers 1945, and the sequel, and then also Strikers 1999. There are many versions of these games. I'm not sure if there are more of these out there. Maybe there is. And then it also has Dragon Blaze in it, which is a fantastic game. And Zero Gunner is a really strange one where you're rotating your ship. It's like a really clumsy attempt at a 3D. It's not really a 3D, but the enemies are coming from all over the screen, and you're basically in the middle most of the time, and you're rotating your ship and shooting every direction. It's very clunky. And it also has Soul Divide, which is a game that I've never understood how to play. I can't play that game at all. Yeah. Strikers, the second one, is fantastic as well. I've played some of these. I haven't beaten all of them. The Strikers games are very difficult, so I'll have to really put my mind into it to beat them at some point. Another collection of classic games is Samurai Showdown Neo Geo Collection by Pix and Love, which is a great company. I believe this is the first Pix and Love title that I've shown in these videos. Maybe. I have quite a few of them. There will be more coming later on. But this has the old Neo Geo era Samurai Showdown games, the arcade fighters and whatever. I've played all of these. I've tried all of these out. We spent an evening with a friend of mine going through all these games, checking out all the characters and whatnot. These aren't the easiest fighting games to get into if you aren't a fan of fighting games. Not really button smashers. So I'm not exactly sure how to play these in any proper fashion, but I did enjoy them quite a bit. Especially, I believe, the 4th one, maybe? It was either 4 or 3. It was a bit faster than the other ones. But yeah, Samurai Showdown is a fun series. Definitely worth checking out. Why is the video not focused? Now it's focused. I wonder how long it was unfocused. Well, hopefully not for very long. Now it's focused. Right, deluxe edition for Slime Rancher. I did try this at one point for a couple of hours. I can't even remember why I stopped playing it. It's a builder game where you're breeding slimes and exploring. I thought it was fun. Why did I stop playing it? I don't remember. Maybe there was some reason, but again, it's years ago. I'll get back to it at some point, maybe. Strafe This is the FPS game. I believe this is the first released by Special Reserve Games. If it's not the first, it's one of the first ones. It was either this or Shadow Warrior, I think. Maybe this was the first one. Or was it Absolver? I don't remember. But this is among the first ones. It's a really difficult first-person shooter, horror-themed, like sci-fi shooter. And why did I stop playing it? I stopped playing it because the PS4 controls aren't the greatest, so it was very difficult to even get through some of the early levels. I'll probably try getting further in it at some point, but it's maybe a bit too difficult for my taste. As a console shooter, on a PC I could play it, but on consoles it's difficult when there are so many enemies who can kill you so fast. Subnautica is a fantastic game. Another game like NieR Automata, which it sucks that I couldn't play it at that time for longer. Again, a game that I had to start from the beginning. A first-person survival exploration game takes place in the sea. You crash landed and you are in the sea and you have to figure out how to live. How not to die. The first time I started playing Subnautica, I died of thirst and I had no idea how to make water. But then I figured out how to make water and then I survived a bit longer. And yeah, it just takes time to learn. This is the type of game that you should play without using any wikis and just try to figure out. Fantastic game. Also has a free PS5 upgrade. Which is much better in terms of graphics and the frame rate. So if you have a PS5, it's worth getting the PS4 release for Subnautica. Limited Run Games, again, this is number 69. Nice. The Bit Trip collection. I believe this is a PAX variant cover. So this is a cover variant that's a bit more rare than the regular one. Has 6 games in a Bit Trip series. I've beaten, I think, 3 of them. I've beaten Bit Trip Runner, which is the main game. And I've also beaten the rail shooter, which is, I believe, Fate. And then I've beaten... What else have I beaten? I've beaten the last one, Flux, is it? Where you are avoiding these obstacles, I believe. But these are these are mobile games originally, ported over to the PS4. Rhythm games, Infinite Runners, this shooter, lots of different genres. Some of the games aren't the greatest. For example, the first one, because it only has motion controls in it, so you have to tilt the controller, and it just doesn't work very well. But the Bit Trip series is a good one. I enjoy that quite a bit. Next up, we have This War of Mine, The Little Ones. This is a brutally difficult survival game. Why did I stop playing this? Because my TV just couldn't handle it. This is one of those PC ports that has a very, very tiny text on consoles. And there are very few options to change it. So I stopped playing this literally because I couldn't read the text on the screen because it was so small. But now I have a different TV, so maybe it will look better. But back in the day, I couldn't play it because of the text size. And then lastly, in this stack, I have Zombies Ate My Neighbors and Ghoul Patrol Double Pack by Limited Run Games, number 294. I have played both of these games quite a bit, but they are extremely long, or the first one is extremely long. These are ridiculously difficult arcade-style games. And the first game has, I don't even remember how many stages, maybe over 100 stages. I've gotten to stage 8, I believe. So these are time sinks. You have to really dedicate yourself to playing them. It does have a manual in it. It's full color. Lots of artwork in it as well. Yeah. So this is waiting for me to get motivation to just pour hours and hours into those games to maybe manage to beat them at some point. Right. And then I have a couple of collector's editions here for games that I've started but haven't finished. First of all, there is Sublevel Zero Redux. This is by Signature Edition Games. This is a game similar to the PS1 era shooters such as Descent. So it's a first-person space shooter. I did get quite far into it. I beat some bosses as well, but not really my thing necessarily. The collector's edition is very nice. When you have full range of movement in first person, when you're flying around, it gets very disorienting at points and quite difficult to figure out where you are and where you're supposed to be going. So I'm not the biggest fan of that style of game. Next up, we have Tunic, which I have played again for maybe 10 hours, but then I had to put it down for months and months, and now I have to start it over. This is a fantastic Zelda-like puzzle adventure game. Very difficult, very obscure puzzles as well. You play the entire game in a language that you don't really know. There's a manual with pictures in it. You have to find manual pages and figure out how to even play the game. It's very interesting in many ways in terms of design. Definitely worth checking out. Oh yeah, this is the European Fangamer collector's edition for this. What did it have, by the way? It's open from the side, so I can get it quite easily to show as well. What does it have? Oh yeah, it has the instruction booklet from the game, but also has English language in it. Yeah, these are spoilers for the game, so don't look at the screen if you don't want spoilers. And then it has some stickers and a digital soundtrack that I'm not going to show. Has some concept art. Does come with a poster as well, which is double-sided. Nice. So these are again spoilers for the game. These are the places you enter in the game. This is the map of the world. All the different areas. And that's that. Very nice collector's edition. I don't know what it costs at this point. I don't even know if it's sold out, but it was very affordable when it was released. Not a full-priced release by any means. These freaking bands, I'll put them together some other point in time. Just can't be bothered with it right now. Yeah, and then I have the Crypt of the NecroDancer collector's edition, the European one. It is a rhythm game that I suck at. I'm really bad at this game. It does have a nice steelbook, and the steelbook houses a pin and a bandana and a soundtrack CD. Also the track list on a separate slip of paper. And then the game case has another soundtrack CD in it for the DLC. And it also has a manual, which is this foldable like a poster. Some instructions, controls, a little bit of art as well, the characters for the DLC. and the main game. Are these all of the characters? No, these are not all of the characters. There are more playable characters, but these are the main ones. A very, very difficult dungeon crawler / rhythm game. Great music and great art style. I just wish that I wasn't as bad at the game as I am. Yeah. I'll put these here and I'll move them on top at some other point. What else do I have? Oh yeah, I have this one as well. This Trails of Cold Steel. This is the first one. The box is very beat up. Again, I bought this brand new and this is the condition that it came in, which is unfortunate. But yeah, this is a JRPG. Comes with a steelbook, soundtrack CD, and whatnot. I played a couple of hours of this at some point, but I don't know. Some people like the Trail series a lot. It felt kind of generic and I had other things to do, so I'll get back to it at some point. Like all of these games, I'll get back to it at some point. Maybe it takes a year, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 5 years, but I'll get to it at some point. Now, next up I have here a stack of games. I'll do the limited run games in this video and then I'll move on to another video where I'll go through all the other games. But yeah, I have here alphabetized all the limited run games that I own that I haven't played yet. So let's get through them first. So here's 2064 Read-Only Memories, limited run release 64. Is a visual novel style adventure game by the people who later made Valhalla. 8-Bit Adventure Anthology, Volume 1. I don't think they've released a Volume 2. This is number 113. These are old NES era point-and-click adventure games. 3 of them. Shadowgate, Uninvited, and Deja Vu. Haven't played any of these. Next up, I have the Bloodstained Curse of the Moon 2. Curse of the Moon 2. Very difficult to say. I haven't played the first one, and I don't own the first one, so this is waiting for me to get to it. So this is a spin-off title from the Bloodstained series. Castlevania Advance Collection. This has the Game Boy Advance games in it, if I'm not mistaken. Circle of the Moon, Harmony of Dissonance, Aria of Sorrow. Never played these ones. I'll get to it at some point. Drive. This is number 30. Oh yeah, this is number 400. I forgot to say that. Drive. This is a surprisingly a racing game. Don't know much about it. Next up, Fallen Legion, Sins of an Empire. I found this randomly on a regular shelf of used games at a local game store for a very good price, and I don't even know what they were thinking when they sold this for such a cheap price. This is number 67. Haven't played any of the games in this series. These are 2D action, this anime style 2D action games. There is also a release that has this and also the other game. I don't remember the name of it. There are 2 Fallen Legion games. The one that was originally only for the Vita has been ported over and put in a package with this one. So there's a retail version of this out there as well, which is probably a lot cheaper. Gravity Ghost Deluxe Edition. This is number 151. A very unique looking platforming game, puzzle platformer. Next up, Icy. This is a 2D brawler, if I'm not mistaken, number 224, and has lots of combat in it. This is a surprisingly long game. That's the reason why I haven't played this. One time when I was looking for something to play next, I thought of Icy. I checked how long it is, and I chose something else because of that. Yeah, it looks like a really interesting game. This is one of the first ones by Limit Run. Lost Sea is number 6, an isometric adventure game. Musinx, this is another pretty early one. Oh, it's 98, so it wasn't that early, but this is a rhythm game with an anime style. Next up, I have NeuroVoider, which unfortunately does have a bit of damage on the cover. Yeah, there are many releases for NeuroVoider. There's also Red Art Games release, maybe even a retail release on Switch. I'm not exactly sure, but there are many different releases. This is the original Limit Run Games release, number 44. So this is a twin-stick shooter. Don't know much about it. It's a horror game. Never-Ending Nightmares, number 245. I'm pretty sure I've watched a Let's Play of this at some point. I've seen the whole game. This looks very familiar. But I'll play through it myself at some point. And then next we have One Way Heroics. This is an early one. This is number 11. It's a pixel style RPG, pixel graphics RPG. I believe this is Is it a monster collector as well? No, it has all these different classes, so that's why I thought it was a monster collection. No, you have a lot of variety in terms of what kind of characters you can use. Next up, we have Oregon Trail Complete Edition. This is number 73. This is like a humor version of the Oregon Trail with zombies in it. Then I have Rockboshers, Director's Cut. This is number 60. This is a strange one. Is it an NES style game? Not really. It looks even older. It looks like something even older than NES. But yeah, it's a humor game. Queen Victoria fighting in Mars. Very strange one. Next up, Runner 2. This is, what is the complete title? Bit Trip presents Runner 2 Future Legend of Rhythm Alien. So this is the sequel to Bit Trip Runner that I showed a bit earlier. Limit Run Games number 24. Don't really know much about this one. It's a runner game, so probably not that great. I'm not a huge fan of Infinite Runners, but they are fun for a while, right? This is a horror game, Saturnalia. This is a pretty new one, 422. Has this very strange looking art style. Looks like a moving drawing. It's difficult to describe without seeing it in motion. It looks very strange in motion. Yeah, survival horror title. Always have to pick up those. Next up, I have Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the game complete edition. It's number 264. This game famously never had a physical release on PS3 and was delisted also from the store. So this is basically the only way to play it now. If you don't own it digitally on a PS3 and have it installed. 2D beat 'em up game. Very well-liked game in its genre. Never tried it. I'll get to it at some point. Next up, this is a strange one. This is Senko no Ronde 2, which is a bullet hell shooter combined with fighting game mechanics. It's a two player, like a player versus player fighting game that has bullet hell shooter in it. Very interesting. Next up, Shantae and the Seven Sirens. This is the newest Shantae game, number 226. I haven't played many Shantae games, but the ones that I have played are excellent. So I'll check this out definitely at some point. Next up, I have Slime Sun Super Slime Edition. This is a 2D puzzle platformer. Couple more to go. This is The Flame in the Flood. I don't know really anything about this game. This was again one of those that I found at a local game store, just on a shelf with other used games. So this is number 50. Oh yeah, Slime Sun was, what was it? 171. Senku no Ronde was 59. I don't always remember to say the numbers. It's easier to find these if you know the numbers online. But yeah, The Flame in the Flood. I think this is a survival game. Yeah, it says so on the back. It's a survival game, so you collect items and try to make it. Try not to die. And then I have Toe Jam and Earl Back in the Groove, number 140. This is the newest Toe Jam and Earl game, as far as I know. Maybe there is something newer that has been released, but yeah. Also has this alternate cover. It looks like an old Sega game. And has a really, really big, thick manual. So this one of the good things about having a manual like this is actually knowing what the items in a game do. Because there are so many different items in a game, in Toe Jam and Earl games, and you are never told what they actually do. Maybe in this one they are explained better, but usually they aren't. So it's also part of the appeal of the game, so you have to figure out yourself what all the items do. So yeah, that's everything I have for this video. Next time I will go through as many just standard game cases that I can. It will probably take 3 videos to get through these, so finally maybe I'll be able to get through everything in the PS4 collection. It has been a long time coming. But yeah, thanks for watching and have a nice day.